in your tactics in your wrestling kind of reminded me almost of William Regal, like, and a lot of the UK guys, now they have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pete Dunne, I don't know if you watch NXT or if you watch the WWE UK, that kind of style, the William Regal style. It's just it's a very realistic style, and I feel like a lot of heels today are missing that from their repertoire.
Thank you. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, because I was just having a conversation with somebody about that recently. That's what I want. I want people to watch my matches. Over the years, let's be real. I get a ton of compliments about, you're so beautiful and you're this and you're that. And that is so awesome. And I love it. Thank you. And I appreciate it. But the compliments about my work and my style blow all of those away, because I didn't get in the business to want to, I like it, but I got in the business because I grew up watching that 1980s, wrestling style. And I was like, I'm going to do that one day, Mom and Dad, and everybody willing to listen. I'm going to do that and be that. And that's what I always wanted to be. And that's what I've brought with me through the years. And that's my goal. I don't want my matches to necessarily be pretty. I don't want them to look completely flawless and everything's fluid. And people who have that style, that's great. It's not me, and it's not what I'm good at, and it's not what I try to do, because it wasn't authentic. And quite frankly, I think I would suck at it. I want the fans to walk away being like, damn, guys, like that girls match, they were going at it. They were rough and tumble, and they were actually, we could hear the impact of those shots that they were taking. And so for you to give me that compliment, thank you so much, because that is me. I'm not in there to pitter patter around or make things look pretty or poetic or anything. I'm in there to be a badass old school ass kicker and, get the job done. That's always my goal.
Yeah, I feel like today, like you said, a lot of people are worried about that perfectly timed spot and things like that. But in reality, in a shoot style environment, things aren't perfectly timed, and it's okay to not, hit everything clean and stuff like that. And I think that's what adds a level of realism to the matches, and yours, like you said.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and that's exactly what I want.
So back in 2012, you won the NWA Women's Championship, which obviously is a very prestigious championship. So what was that experience like for you, and how big of a career highlight is that for you, having that championship for over a year?
Oh, that was that always will be, is and always will be one of the big highlights when people ask me, highlights of your career. And it's not to take away from any other titles I've held. Clearly, I am very proud of all of them. But the NWA Women's World Title, I was honored, and I still am honored to have held it, and to have held it for as long as I did. It's one of those things where when the day, one day far, far away, hopefully comes when, I have to hang up my boots and I'm done, I think it's going to hit me even harder. Like, holy crap, wow, yeah, I was the NWA champion. To grow up, and I know I keep going back to being that fan, but when I tell you guys that wrestling is the love of my life, and it's true, it's like all my life centers around, to be that fan who was seeing NWA wrestling on TV back in the day, and reading about it. It was the NWA. And then for me now to not only be able to become a wrestler, but to actually hold that world title was a huge honor. And it's one that I'm so proud of, to look at the list of names who have held that title before me. And I'm listed with those ladies. And I was looking up to these women growing up and reading about them in magazines and in awe of these women wrestlers. And now I'm listed among them. And that to me is so humbling and such an honor. It's something that I will be proud of until the day I die.
Yeah, the NWA Women's title in both men's and females is a huge accomplishment and huge, definitely a notch in the belt. Aside from the title, what other women have you shared the ring with? Matches you look back and you say, wow, if I, I have a new fan today, I want them to go back and watch this match, or I was in the ring with this person. Who are some of those people that stick out to you?
Oh, wow. I've had some, I've had some pretty solid matches over the years. I mean, I've had some matches. Gosh, I'm trying to pull them real quickly. You know, I had a match up in Staten Island with you guys might have seen it with Jesse Brooks that took place as part of the Valkyrie Championship. I was part of that match. You know, that to me was a match that kind of tested both of us in a sense. We had never wrestled each other before, and very much a feeling out process, and a lot of that was on the fly, which people would never know, I'm sure. You know, so I'd say go back and watch that match. I would tell them to go back and watch some of my matches with Jessie K. You know, she and I have had some solid matches over the years. Who now is Kennedy Brink is her name now. You know, I'm proud of some of those matches. Mickey James and I have had a couple of solid matches that took place over the past 2 years, clearly before she went back to New York. But you know, and kind of, I mean, there's been, and I'm completely brain farting on a lot of them, but you know, there's been some matches where I've walked away going, what in the hell just happened, and what was that? But you know, there's a lot that I am proud of, so it's hard to pinpoint a couple of them. I've never seen the match where I won the world title, so I would like to see that match, and I would definitely like others to see that one as well. But other than that, you know, I don't know. I've had a very lucky career where I've had a lot of good matches with a lot of different people, and it's hard to kind of go back through and pinpoint some of them.
Okay. Do you follow any other promotions right now? Like, are you big on the WWE, the NXT, the Ring of Honor, or not so much because you kind of live in the business?
You know, to be honest with you, the past year or so, I really have not kept up with it the way that I once did, just because I haven't. So I do keep up with it as much as possible. I feel like it's one of those things. If you're a doctor, you're always up on what's happening in your field, and I feel like wrestling should be the same way. You know, so I'm familiar with it, but I am not somebody who is in front of the TV every week watching it. A lot of people are.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I said, once you're immersed in that lifestyle, it's hard to dedicate an extra 412 hours of WWE weekly programming, you know, to the television.
That's the thing. I mean, there's so much going on with myself. You know, it's hard to kind of sit down and stop for a minute just to kind of watch. And then it reminds me, I have to email this promoter back and all that. So yeah, it is hard to kind of carve out time.
Who are some people right now that, you know, you think, man, I would love to get in the ring with them? Is there somebody right now that you see either on the independent scene that, or in the, you know, in the WWE that you see their style and you're like, man, I would have a great match with X? Who would that be?
Wow. You know, there's actually a lot of girls right now who I still haven't stepped in the ring with, and, you know, just haven't really had the chance to share the ring with yet. You know, there might be a chance for me to have a match with Penelope Ford coming up sometime soon. I've heard good things about her. You know, she's one of the girls on the indies. I cannot think of what her name is on NXT. Heidi, what is the name that they gave her now on NXT?
Ruby Riott.
Ruby, right? Yes. I always thought for some reason that I would like to work her. I've seen several of her matches, and I thought it would be fun to click with her. And you know, Ember, I never got the chance to tangle with her, who was Athena on the Indies, and I always thought that would be a fun matchup. You know, that's some of them. I've wrestled Kimberly before, and she and I've always had fun wrestling her. I'd love to be in the ring with her again. You know, there's girls really all over the country who I hear so much about, and I just haven't had the chance to share a ring with them yet. You know, like girls out in California, like Nicole Savoy. I've known her for years. She used to live on the East Coast, and I have yet to share the ring with her. You know, there's just a really large number of women actually who, despite as long as I've been in the business, you just don't always cross paths with people, and there's a lot that I'd like to get in the ring with.
Well, the good news is you said you aren't leaving the business anytime soon. So I know your schedule, you know, if people keep up with you on the Twitter, on the Instagram is always full. So tell me, where are we going to be able to see you in the coming weeks? What do you have planned? What do you have lined up? Where can we see Kacee Carlisle?
Oh boy, I actually have a fairly full schedule coming up. Most immediately, this coming Saturday, for the people in the area, I will be down in Norfolk, Virginia for VCW at the Masonic Temple this Saturday, April the 1st. And I will be wrestling I'll be wrestling Kylie Ray. That's going to be a first-time matchup as well. She's from Texas, but she's coming out for this match this weekend. After that, the following week, I'm in West Virginia and then Virginia again on Saturday. I'm going to be out in Indiana, Bourbon, Indiana, making my debut for Pro Wrestling King on April the 22nd. And then April the 29th, I'm going to be out in Port Orchard, Washington, making my debut for the Pacific Wrestling Federation. I might be adding a date in Canada that weekend as well, but that has not yet been confirmed. And after that, I'm in Virginia. I'm in the Carolinas. I'm going to, I believe, be going back down to South Carolina after that soon, Georgia again. I have a lot coming up, and everybody can always keep track of me both on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website as well, which is CaceeCarlisle.com.
And what was the Twitter handle?
Twitter handle is @CaceeCarlisle.
Well, that is fantastic. I got tired listening to the schedule you have coming up, so I have nothing but the utmost respect for the hours that you keep, the schedule that you keep. It's that's unbelievable, and I think that's really good, especially for your fans. You know, the way it was, like I said, you grew up in the 80s, back in when there were the quote-unquote territories. You didn't get a chance to see your favorite wrestlers that much, but for somebody who keeps a schedule like that, and with the invention of the good old internets, it's definitely easy to keep up with your favorite wrestlers. So, Kacee, we cannot thank you enough for taking some time out of your very obviously busy schedule to come here, sit down with us in the All Night Long Wrestling podcast. We are going to keep up with you on Twitter, social media, and, you know, definitely look forward to seeing whatever you have coming up in the future.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on and giving me the time. And please do keep up with me. And, you know, a year down the line or something, we might have to do this again sometime. You never know. Absolutely.
We would love to hear from you again.
Great. Sounds great. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Enjoy.
you, Kacee.
Have a great night, guys. Take care.
That was independent superstar Kacee Carlisle, who is almost a nomad. That schedule, I get tired, like, between the gym, work, and home. I cannot imagine traversing the United States. That's wild.
And wrestling physical matches every night for like 10 to 20 minutes or however long it is, right? I mean, it's like, you know, like you said, I get tired driving 35 minutes to work every day on Long Island and then sitting in a chair for most of it. These people are driving across states, right? And she's wrestling in ring matches or whatever kind of matches she's having, right? With all the stuff going on and taking all these bumps and who knows what else. So,
and then sitting in the car after you got beat up, like the entire way back, it is unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's a lot of respect for, independent wrestlers, especially ones that keep the schedule like Kacee does. That's great.
And with no signs of stopping. So it was a fantastic chatting with Kacee Carlisle. Well, that wraps up another edition here of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. As always, you guys can find us on Twitter at All Night Long WP, on Instagram at All Night Long WP, Facebook.com/All Night Long WP. There's a million different places. But I will tell you, if you're not following the Twitter, you are missing out on me live tweeting WrestleMania 17 and 20 the last 2 days. So who would want to miss that?
You know what you should do? Because what I'm going to do right now, actually, when we wrap up the show here in a minute, I'm going to go watch WrestleMania 12. That's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to watch a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Is that the bullshit one where the 60-minute Iron Man match went more than 60 minutes and it should have been a draw and Bret should have been
it's called overtime.
It's not called overtime. It's a 60-minute Iron Man match. Yeah. It's a 60-minute Iron Man match.
There's a 60-minute game in hockey as well.
Yeah, but it's a 60-minute Iron Man match that ends in a draw. I don't
understand.
I don't understand either.
It doesn't end in a draw.
It does end in a draw. If it's a 60-minute Iron Man match, it goes 60 minutes, and then that's it. At the end, it's a tie.
The boyhood dream came true. That's all.
The boyhood dream is a bunch of bullshit. 60 minutes. I'm not going to go to a movie that's an hour and 15 minutes and expect an hour and 20-minute show.
There's always previews.
There's previews beforehand. Yeah, but when the movie's over, the movie's over.
You need to make sure you need to loosen up here a little bit.
I'm not going to loosen up. Kacee Carlisle agrees with me. Bret Hart is the true star of the 1990s in WWE.
She's tired from a very busy schedule.
She's tired from a very busy schedule, but she's still a very smart wrestling fan.
She's a smart wrestling fan. In this case, she just happens to be incorrect about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh,
Switching to Geico could save you